The Silent Hill 2 Remake review is from the perspective of someone who haven't played any of the other games of the franchise all the way through. The only game I played a little of was Silent Hill Shattered Memories for the PSP. As a guitar player, I was familiar with the soundtrack of the original Silent Hill 2 from 2001. That was my only connection to the games. I really like horror movies and games, so the release of this Silent Hill 2 remake intrigued me. This is a remake of the 2001 game of the same name, originally developed by Team Silent. Released on October 8, 2024, developed by Bluebird Team and published by Konami. Bluebird Team has been responsible for making games like Layers of Fear 1 and 2, The Medium, Observer, and Blair Witch. The game's story follows James Sunderland, a widower who returns to the town of Silent Hill upon receiving a letter from his deceased wife, who claims to be waiting there for him. The game features a third-person over-the-shoulder camera perspective, responsive melee combat, and overhaul shooting mechanics. Gameplay revolves around exploration, combat, and puzzle solving. There's backtracking involved, but not so much that it becomes a nuisance. It has a very good sense of progression. We go from location to location pretty fast so the environments don't get stale. This is a very beautiful game, from the staple foggy Silent Hill streets to the woodside apartments. Every location leaves its mark. Every location is filled to the brim with impeccable attention to detail, making them very intriguing and haunting to explore. The characters and enemies are very well animated, the faces expressing emotions, disturbing enemy movements. Melee animations are visceral, guns being fired feel powerful. The enemy reacting to gunshots and blunt damage are very satisfying. Also, it's really impressive to see the decayed version of the locations we visited before. The voice acting is expertly made.
Look, my name is James. James Sunderland.
Eddie.
Eddie, okay. So, do you live here, Eddie?
No. I'm not even from this town. It's just...
Something brought you here.
The environmental sound effects are one of my favorite aspects of the whole game. Really kept me engaged and on edge for the entirety of my playthrough.
Hello? Is anyone there?
The soundtrack is exceptional, adding stress, panic, and impact to the gameplay and cutscenes. The soundtrack, sound effects, and environments synergize to make a horrifying experience. I'm always on edge, trying to look on what's around every corner. The story touches upon themes of mental health and abuse tactfully, as James' character growth allows him to confront his demons and accept the consequences of his actions. This game has a very complex story. If you like simple stories that you don't need to put much effort into understanding it, you may not like the story. The game has a total of 8 endings, 2 of which are joke endings. There is no true ending, so it depends on which one you prefer. I think this is good because it adds to the replay value. This game features a weapon-based melee combat, selection of firearms, a dodge button to evade enemy attacks. The gunplay is not revolutionary by any means, but it gets the job done by being responsive and not having any issues. There are times when attacking slithering style enemies where the melee combat can feel quite obtuse, but it's not a very constant issue that it becomes bothersome. The standard difficulty is quite forgiving because of the amount of healing items you can acquire. Become almost invincible, so if you're looking for a more challenging combat experience, hard difficulty is recommended. The enemies and bosses have more health and their attack patterns are more aggressive and deal more damage. The puzzles are very enjoyable, felt natural in the progression of the game, adding variety and a relief from the intense combat sequences. The boss battle had their unique spectacles. They didn't introduce brand new mechanics, basically just shoot or melee and dodge until the boss is defeated. But they are appreciated in the way they were presented, and some of them even contributed to the story development, not just an obstacle you need to go through just to progress to the next location. The pros and the cons. I had performance issues, constant frame drops, and a total of 3 crashes in my 16-hour playthrough. Even though the enemy design is fantastic, I wanted to see a little more enemy variety. It has an intriguing story and characters, incredible sound design and soundtrack, outstanding horror atmosphere, a lot of accessibility options. This has been my most memorable gaming experiences this year. The story and characters kept me intrigued and wanting to find out more. This is definitely my game of the year, and it has me wanting to play every other game in the franchise. Even played through the original Silent Hill 2 from 2001. I'm very glad this is my introduction to the Silent Hill series. Thanks for watching, and tell me what you thought about this review, and if you have played the game, tell me what you think about it in the comment section below.
Where are you going?
I need to find Mary.
James? Is everything alright? Hey, you okay? It's like you froze for a second.
Yeah, it's fine.